Hello and welcome to Grounds. On a lovely warm day, we're here for an after-hours, behind-the-scenes tour of the main library's renovation. I'm here with Kit Meyer. I'm Jeff Hill from the University Library Communications Department, and Kit is Senior Project Manager for Facilities Management. She knows everything there is to know about the renovation, and she's going to share some of that with us today.
Thanks, Jeff. It's really great to have you here. 2 months after we started construction, COVID hit, and so we haven't had an opportunity to bring a lot of people on site. So I'm really happy that you're here today.
Well, the building that we're in now was built in the 1930s, and it opened in 1938, I think, yeah. And since then, the new stacks were added on in the 60s, opened in 67, and the AC was put in later, but it's safe to say that what we're seeing here represents like this transitional state is bigger than anything we've done before here.
It's a big project for the academic side for sure, to take 100,000 plus square feet of historic building and bring it back to its core like this. The project is replacing 100% of the mechanical, the electrical, the plumbing, life safety, elevators, bathrooms, everything. And so it looks kind of gutted, but it really is not a gut. This is a restoration. There's pieces of the building which we have removed and put into storage for bringing back. And I'll be happy to show you some rooms later where we they're staying in place and we're gonna renovate in place.
Fantastic. So it's been 15 months since you started construction, just to get to this phase. What did it take just to get there? Give us some background.
We've been really busy. As you can see, there's a lot of demolition to be done, selective demolition, a lot of structural work that has to be done. We have to shore up this building before we can start demoing parts of it. The new addition is about 20 feet deeper than the historic building, so there's a lot of underpinning, lagging, shoring that needs to be done to hold this up before we can even start work on the new building.
So Kit, by any measure, this is a huge undertaking for the library and the university.
Yeah, this library has not had a major renovation since it was built in the 30s. The scale, the number of square feet, the comprehensive nature of it, and just flat out how much it's going to cost. It's a big project.
So Kit, we're in the main hall, which is the instantly recognizable space to most people that have been in the building because it's been the public entrance to the building since the building opened. Of course, this is where the circulation desk was, where you check out materials. It looks a little different right now. It's stripped down, the ceiling panels are gone. So when it reopens, what's it going to look like?
This is definitely one of the spaces that we're going to bring back to its 1938 character. We'll be putting back the black and white checked floor that it had originally, but it'll be full of comfortable seating space because we won't have a card catalog in here anymore. Mm-hmm. What you see above you is we are making a catwalk and we're putting some mechanical systems in there. And so each one of those little squares is being removed and a diffuser will be tucked in there so that air will be coming down and making the space more comfortable. This project is definitely going to add to the thermal comfort of people and also bring in a lot of fresh air that currently is not brought into the building. As you said, this was the front entrance, has been since 1938. Used to be, as you came through those doors, you'd walk across the bridge and there was an elevator in your way. So we're going to be opening that up and you'll see light all the way out from University Avenue that'll help draw you into that space. We definitely want to make the wayfinding better in this building. It's often been experienced as very confusing and sometimes terrifying for some people, we heard during our studies.
Yeah. Well, we still want people to get figuratively lost in the stacks, but not literally like they were.
That's right.
So when the space first opened, of course, the stacks were closed, and in fact, the circulation desk blocked the stacks. You got your card catalog, you came to the desk, and you gave them your call slip, and there was something called a Sneed conveyor system, which actually the outline of it, I think, is still on the floor here, and they would somehow go back to the stacks with the call slip, and this conveyor belt system would bring your book up to the front. So it was really formal. So I hope it's going to be a more welcoming space when it's done with that.
Yeah, it really is. And this space is going to be much more cozy. We won't have the cafe in here as we did for the last 10 or 20 years. That's going to be on the second floor. We're not getting rid of it. But this space is going to have comfortable reading arrangements where people can sit and meet a friend, do some studying, and enjoy this light-filled space.
We're in another instantly recognizable space if it were as it usually is. This is the reference room on the east wing of the library. So the chapel's right over here to our left. This room would normally have the checkerboard floors, have the low shelves, long wooden tables, wooden Windsor chairs. And I'm joined now by Henry Hull. Henry's the Historic Preservations Project Coordinator with Facilities Management. And Henry's going to tell us a little bit about the refurbishing of the historical spaces and the protecting and saving historic materials throughout the building.
Sure. So we started first by removing all of the historic millwork that had been in this, a lot of the bookcases to go out to get refurbished. We also removed all of the original tables and chairs that were from the 1930s, right. And we had vendors refinish those. The next stage was for the framers to come in, and they added the framing here, and now we're in the stage of an above ceiling where MEP systems are being installed. We have sprinkler pipe, mechanical, electrical, and so far in this space.
So Henry, I know all of the rooms that are in the wings are going to get redone, refurbished. Places like the Scholars Lab will be back, and the Taylor Room, the Garnett Room, and this will be a reading room when it reopens again. Is it going to look more or less like it used to look, or is it going to be, what are you going to notice that's different in here?
Sure. So the goal, Jeff, is to make this look like it did in 1937 with all of the 20th century and 21st century upgrades that we want in a building today. So the black and white checkered tiles coming back. The ceilings are going up higher, as I mentioned. We're adding back the plaster cornices that had been in this space. So yes, the goal was to make this look like it did as it opened in the 30s with the original tables and chairs, and the overall space will look the same.
And I know we have a program that you can sponsor a Windsor chair if you so desire.
Yes, yeah. We are actually having the same firm restore the chairs that made them in 1937.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So they're redoing the same chair twice.
So we're entering the McGregor Room, although you might not know it to look at it right here. The McGregor Room was originally built with the building in 1938 to house the Tracy McGregor Library that was donated to UVA. Tracy McGregor's portrait used to be on the wall over here. This was the Rare Books and Manuscripts Room for many, many years. And then when the Albert and Shirley Small Special Collections Library was built, this was reverted to a reading room. It's become a really popular reading room. The students these days call it the Harry Potter room.
So the main goal here is to look just like it did before the renovation. But in order to finish the project, we have seismic upgrades that we have to perform to the existing building, which is why we've had to remove all of the millwork on this side of the room. So behind the plastic barricade there, we still have all of the original millwork that is staying in place and will be restored in place. However, everything on the left side of the room is being removed off-site and will be restored off-site as well.
So Kit, this is one of the spaces that me and a lot of other people are really excited about. I know you are too. Basically, we're in one of the two light wells, right, that let light into the building, but we're inaccessible. And they just were concrete floor with a drain in the middle of it. When the building reopens, these are going to be a study courtyard, and it's also going to double as event space or presentation space. So I think it's going to be really popular.
It's going to be beautiful. Yeah, there'll be skylights over it and beautiful tile on the bottom, so it's going to be really pretty. Right at the moment is when we contractors find it really pretty. So this wall, everything beyond it is demolished. And we did do studies during design, should we tear it down and rebuild it? But it actually made more sense to go ahead and brace it and just keep it, because it is historic brick. We didn't want to have new brick on one wall and old brick on the other three. Yeah, this is going to be a really special space.
Well, Henry and I are up on the roof, a place obviously in the building that most people never get to see. The Blue Ridge Mountains are back this way, and Carr's Hill is behind us over here, and the rotunda is right over here, so we're situated. And also, Henry, this enormous crane is right behind us, so tell us a little bit about what that does for the job.
Sure, the crane was built in August. It required an assist crane to build it, and then the crane built itself from there. The crane is about 160 feet tall, and the boom is 264 feet wide. It requires that large of a tower crane to do the biggest pick of the job, which is to bring up the east skylight in the courtyard.
So here we're right above the light wells, which are going to be the study courts, and you can see all the bracing that's keeping this wall up. And so light's going to pour in through here to the study courts below, and then on the other side, when the new construction is going to be there, there'll be 5 stories, and then there'll be what's called a clear story above it, which clear story wasn't a word I knew before, but that's like a kind of a big skylight that going to let light into the whole building.
Exactly. So the goal here is to add as much light as we can to what was previously a dead space with these courtyards by making them study courts and having the skylights up above. And then the clear story is going to allow light to permeate through multiple layers of the library in the stacks. And that's going to be a double pane glass that is insulated that will protect the books that are stored in it, but also allow a lot more light. And unlike when you'd walked in the stacks beforehand, and it was just very dark and artificial light.
Right. So a better environment for the collections and for the people.
And reading,
doing
yes.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so we're in the north side of the building. For reference, like the chapel is over here, the rotunda is over here, Cars Hill is back here. This is where the new addition gets put on to the building. The new addition is going to be 5 stories. It's going to be light-filled, mostly stack space and collection space. There'll be a 2-story reading room. And the other thing there'll be, which is really nice, is there'll be a nice big terrace and a north entrance to the whole grounds from right here from the community.
Yeah, Jeff, you've got it right. This is really going to be the exciting spot. This is the more transformative side from the 1960s kind of closing itself off to the community. We're now opening up and saying, welcome to the university. The cafe is coming from the 4th floor down here to the 2nd floor, where hopefully people will stop and have a cup of coffee. Like you say, a north reading room that's got the double height space, just like the Memorial Hall, but maybe as a more contemporary feel than the historic. The building is going to be the same expression as existing building, but I think you're going to really feel a sense of change in this part where Newcomb comes into University Avenue.
Compared to what the new stacks looked like, I think it's really going to be transformative.
It's going to be beautiful. Yeah. And you know, I think the university is expanding out to the west, and as people are coming up University Avenue, this will be a gateway into grounds.